I don't know if you guys can see this, man. Our power is surging like crazy. Yeah, about that. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. It's super windy out right now. That's why the power, I'm pretty sure, is surging. I drove the power line and I didn't see no trees or anything down in. I saw on Facebook other people are experiencing the same thing. But anyway, got a deer, got my buck. It was 2 weeks ago, actually today. 2 weeks ago today. Picked up the meat last week. Ended up getting 81 pounds of meat out of that thing. That thing was heavy. Probably the most meat I've ever gotten out of a buck bin for. But one thing I always like to do, well, I've only done it one other time, but it's a tradition for me now, is because it's delicious, is to make venison bacon. Now, I know it's not traditional bacon. It's not made from the belly of the deer, just kind of like how regular bacon is made from the pork belly. But it's still delicious. It makes a fantastic BLT, and yeah, so that's what I'm working on today. I'm doing half batch because the whole batch is 25 pounds worth, and that's a lot of bacon. Generally, your packs of bacon at the store are not even a pound. They're like 8 ounces if it's really premium, to 12 ounces. So you're not even getting a full pound worth. So 25 pounds is a full batch of the seasoning packet I'm using. So 25 pounds of bacon is a lot. So I'm doing actually half and half. I'm doing half venison and half turkey bacon. My wife uses turkey bacon a lot because of health issues that she's trying to get under control. So yeah, that's what I'm working on today, is grinding up meat and getting the slurry going and getting the molds packed and everything like that. So let's get. Alright, so when editing this video, I did not realize I was going to have 42 minutes almost of video. I even cut out a lot of the grinding and stuff like that because I'm like, you guys know what that looks like. You guys don't need to see it. So if you don't want to watch all 42 minutes worth, that's fine. Skip through it. I'm actually thinking about breaking this down into multiple parts. Doing a short version, this course will be the long version, and then also doing a split where it's just me. Alright, before my camera died, of course, I do not have luck with batteries at all, as you can see. But I'm going to do different versions. This one's about to die too. I'm going to do a long, short version, and I think I'm going to take the long version and split it into two. The first part will be the process of getting the meat together, and the second process will be the cooking of it. So before this battery dies, back to the video. At it. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to have to do is cut up the turkey and the pork butt to grind. That's why I'm washing my hands right now. I got to figure out how much pork butt I'm working with. Because the pork butts I'm using have a bone in them, so that contributes to some of the weight. So if it's a 6 pound pork butt, you're not getting 6 pounds of meat out of that. So before I make my calculations of everything else, because when making bacon you have to kind of be precise, because cure is, it's designated to a certain amount of meat. So I have to make sure I get 25 pounds worth of meat if I'm doing a full batch, which is 25 pounds. So I'm doing 12 and a half of turkey bacon and 12 and a half of venison. But you have to make sure you have a good fat ratio as well. But the turkey I'm going to try to make a little leaner because being healthier, you want to kind of keep it that aspect of it, especially since my wife is eating turkey bacon for that aspect of it. I don't want it to be as fatty. So, but first I need to see how much pork butt I get out of this weight-wise. Is that a good enough spot? Yeah. So this is actually a bigger pork butt than I anticipated. It is almost 9 pounds worth. So ideally, I'll probably get about 8 pounds worth of meat out of this. I'm only thinking that the bone will weigh, if a pound worth. Stupid thing unwrapped. There we go. And when doing anything with meat and processing it, always wash your hands as many times as you can. Alright, to save you some of the pain, I'm not going to show you me cutting or taking the meat off this pork butt and dicing it up to grind. You know what that looks like. Cut it up into cube size to fit in a grinder, and then we'll proceed to grinding. Alright, so focus. There it goes. Alright, so got the pork butt all cut up. I actually ended up getting 8 pounds and 6 ounces from that pork butt. So realistically, not even 10 ounces of that pork butt was the bone. So a good bit of it was meat. So that's fantastic. When it comes to making bacon like this, you definitely want to have a good fat to lean ratio. Just because bacon has to have fat to fry up really good. And also the fat helps it stick together. They add a binder. I'm using AC Legs. I think it's called Reconstructed Bacon Mix. It makes 25 pounds, like I said. But they add a binder, I'm pretty sure, to the mix that helps it tack up, so where the loaf sticks together. Because basically you're making a meatloaf, right? And then slicing it down. But that binder also requires fat to properly bind together to where all the protein kind of adheres together to make the loaf. But as you can see, got a good bit of meat out of that. So I guess onto the turkey. I need to get all the meat off of that. Of course, the turkey, it weighs, I forget how much. I think it's like 16, 17 pounds. I'm gonna have way more meat than needed, but I'm gonna grind it up. We use ground turkey a good bit. Turkey burgers are fantastic. It's also a good substitute all around for beef if you're trying to lean away from red meats, which, once again, like I said, my wife has some health stuff she's trying to get in order. So yeah, I guess on to getting the turkey all diced up. Alright, finally got all the turkey meat off the bone. I got 10 pounds, 5 ounces. So that turkey was actually a 22 pounder. So it kind of shows you how much waste you truly got on a turkey if you just want pure meat. Mind you, this is, of course, no bones. I don't do any of the skin. The reason behind that is I find that the skin affects the overall flavor of the turkey, whether you're just grinding it, or this case I'm going to be making turkey bacon. For whatever reason, I feel like the skin always has like a freezer burnt taste, which makes sense because it's the first layer to protect the meat if there is any freezer burn to happen. So 10 pounds, that's all right. That's still about the amount I need. So I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff in the freezer so it chills down. You want your meat when you grind as cold as possible, on the borderline partially frozen. You don't want it fully frozen, but partially frozen, which this meat, turkey meat, thaws out pretty quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and get that into the freezer, take a lunch break, and I'll be back to grinding it. Alright, so I'm sitting here trying to enjoy my lunch, and I'm looking at my formula / calculations, trying to figure out how much of each type of meat I need. One thing people don't understand is when you're doing any of this type of stuff, man, it's a big math problem. It really is. especially when you're dealing with cure, because sodium nitrate is actually very, very potent and potentially can become poisonous and deadly if you don't use it correctly. That's why they make it pink, but now Himalayan pink salt is so popular, you don't need anybody mixing those two up, because if you use as much sodium nitrate as you use regular Himalayan pink salt, you probably won't killing somebody. So the packet I'm using, the LA or LC legs bacon, makes 25 pounds. So I was going to do 12.5 pounds of each, so venison bacon and turkey bacon. But the turkey bacon, I want it to be leaner, so it's going to have less pork fat in it, whereas the venison bacon, I'm fine with it being fattier because that's my bacon. I like fat. I want it to be more unhealthy, I guess you could say. I have no problems with that. So that's what I'm working on right now, is trying to reconstruct, because I thought I had my formulas all figured out, but clearly I don't, because it's not adding up. So that's what I'm working on now. Like I said, it's a big puzzle. Like, here, I'll show you. So I started with this piece of paper right here, right? And I'm just like, something's not adding up and I'm running out of space. It was just a scrap piece of paper, right? Don't need that anymore. So then I started on this piece of paper, but what I was running into here is I was going to have turkey and pork left over, and I didn't want that. So what I did was, my original piece of paper here, I actually had over 7 pounds of deer. So I just went ahead and took a pound or a packet of the deer back and subtracted it. So that's why I got that much. Coming over to this paper, I started getting everything under control, right? So I thought I had it under control. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to need 9.35 pounds of turkey. The reason I got that is because I have 10.35 total. I was just going to freeze a pound there and freeze a pound of pork there, right? And then my buffer was going to be beef fat. That's what the BF stands for. But then I'm like, hold on a second. That only adds up to 12. This whole time I was calculating for 12 pounds. Each batch is going to be 12.5 pounds. So I had to redo it. So then 9.35 of turkey, and then to get the final 12.5, then I'm going to need 3.15 pounds of the ground up pork. Come over to here. The deer is a solid, so it doesn't change. That's how much deer I'm going to be using. And then you take the 3.15, subtract it from the 7.4 here, because we're phrasing a pound of it. And you get this right here, the 4.25 there, right? So for the buffer, I'm going to use beef fat. So I think that will work. I'm going to re-go over my calculations one more time. It's kind of like cutting wood, right? You measure 1, 2, 3 times and then you cut. You don't measure once, cut, and then realize that you did it wrong. So go over it one more time just to make sure. Alright, so went over my calculations again, and everything's adding up. I even broke it down percentages, make sure it equals 100% for the 12.5 pounds worth for each batch. So, focus. Come on. There we go. Okay. So, once again, turkey, 9.35. For the pork, it will be 3.15 pounds. Over here, deer is 6.4375. That's the pork here, and then that's beef fat. I'm using beef fat as a buffer because I can just pull a chunk of it. I got beef fat from, focus, there we go. I got beef fat from the last brisket that I cooked. When you trim it up, instead of throwing it away, generally I'll trim it, throw it in the freezer, and I've been making tallow with it, which is one of the main ingredients when I make a brisket. I use a good bit of tallow for the rest, but this time I'll use it for grinding, which is perfectly fine. So I guess we got the calculations of formula under control. I guess what is next is grinding it, so let's get at that. All right, so first thing I'm gonna grind up is the pork. Once I get that on ground, I'm gonna divvy it up into each pan. That's why I got one pan there, one pan there. Don't need this anymore. But yeah, so once I get it all ground up completely, I'll divvy up between both pans. One pan will be for the turkey bacon, one will be for the venison bacon, and then I guess I will go on to grinding up the turkey itself. And of course, like everything else, I'll save you the time. You know what a grinder looks like. If you're watching this, you already know how a grinder works and everything like that. So, all right, so got all the pork ground up. I guess I need to divvy it up between both of the pans, but I'll tell you what, this grinder here, it's just a cheap Field & Stream one. I don't even think they make it anymore. I'm pretty sure this don't even have a horsepower. It's just watts, right? Most of the time when you have a grinder, it goes off of horsepower. If it's half horsepower or 3/4 horsepower, I think this is like a 200 watt grinder, that's it. But I've probably put more meat through this thing than what it actually costs to begin with. It's been a fantastic grinder. I'm just hoping it just never kicks the bucket halfway through something as I'm grinding it. But all right, so I guess what's next is I need to divvy up this pork between each batch and then onto the turkey. All right, so got the turkey ground up, as you can see here. Ended up being a good bit of turkey. So I got to go ahead, my formula, I need to take out a pound of how much turkey is here, go ahead and vacuum seal and freeze it, and then that should make my batch 12.5 pounds worth for this. After that, I'll probably go ahead and just mix this by hand to incorporate all together, and then probably take it out to my deep freezer. I got one out in my shed. To go ahead and chill it, because turkey doesn't take much to start thawing out and melting. It kind of turns into a slurry. So of course, when dealing with any type of meat like this, you want to keep it as cold as possible. So I'm going to probably go ahead and mix this all up, take it out so it can freeze. Clean up my grinder attachments to go ahead and get my deer going as well. I'm using ground deer, but I still want to take it through the grinder to help mix it in, and then I'll probably end up doing the same. So stay tuned. Hey Google, pause music. Alright, so what I did is, before I took my one slurry, the turkey bacon slurry, out, I went ahead and divvied up my seasoning packet here. I split the seasoning. It was 12 ounces, so 6 ounces went to the turkey, as you can see, and 12 ounces went to that. It called for, if you look here, focus, why does it keep going to manual? There it goes. It says 2 pounds of cold water. So 1 pound of cold water would be 16 ounces. So I went ahead and did 16 ounces of water to the turkey, and then put 16 ounces of water to the venison bacon. I still have to grind up the beef fat. Can't forget that, or throw the formula off. And then it came with 1 ounce of cure. So I went ahead and took the cure itself and split it up. My scale isn't 100% precise, like it doesn't get down to like the point of that ounce. So what I did is I switched it over to grams, and in 1 ounce there's 28.35 grams or something like that. So I went ahead and split the 1 ounce out into grams and split it between both the loaves. I'm gonna go ahead and mix the turkey up and get it into the deep freezer so it chills really good before I do my second grind. So I already ground everything down, but you need to do a second grind to really puree it, and that's what really extracts the protein to make it where it's not going to be a gritty or a crumbly texture, I guess you can say. It will be more of a slice that will stick together, and it will try to represent what bacon is. So let me get that done. Alright, so I got the turkey out in the freezer. It's chilling. Once again, the reason why I did that is so it kind of firms up a little bit before I do the second grind. Turkey really, I mean, any type of poultry turns into mush when you grind it up. So since I have to do 2 grinds, the second grind is going to be such a pain if it doesn't firm up at all. So right now I'm working on the venison batch of it. I just got done, here, I'll show you. I just got done weighing out and dicing up the beef fat for it, for the ratio. So I got everything in here. The pork's in the bottom, you can't really see it. I got the venison right here, but the problem I'm running into is it's still partially frozen, which isn't horrible, but it's kind of a pain in the butt when you're trying to mix it all together. So I think what I'll do is do a rough mix by hand, go ahead, send it through the grinder, then I can do a thorough mix and then send it through the grinder one more time so it can truly get mixed up and emulsified together. So that's what I'm going to work on now. Alright, so I went ahead, mixed up the venison batch and sent it through the grinder once, and I'm like, you know what, while I'm at it, I might as well send it through the grinder the second time just to get it done and over with. It's a lot of work when you send it through the second time. It really likes to gum up, but that's good because then it will kind of bind together and make a better end product for the reconstructed bacon. But this is how far I am, a little over halfway. Like, that's what it looks like through the first time, and then as you can see, it really emulsifies and becomes one when it comes through the second time. So I'm going to go and continue doing that, and then after that I can go ahead and pack up the molds there and get it chilling overnight for tomorrow. Alright, so got the venison all ground up. I'm going to go ahead and get it into the molds because I want that turkey to firm up even more. I don't think it's been in the freezer long enough. So the next step for the venison part of it is to get it in its little molds. So for the molds, I'm using 8x8 by 2-inch aluminum pans. Works fantastic, makes a 2-inch wide strip of bacon, and they're 8x8. I do not know how many of these I'm gonna need for this batch. I'm hoping I have enough. I think there's 10 in here, so I'll have 5 for the venison and 5 for the turkey bacon. So I guess that's the next step. First, what you do is you line those with plastic wrap. That helps it not stick to the aluminum because, I mean, as you can tell, it likes to stick to everything. That's half the problem. Even if it's super cold, it still sticks to everything. So you align your pans with plastic wrap, and when you go to smoke it or barbecue it, right, to cook it on the smoker, it helps it pull away from the pan easy, and then you can just rip the plastic wrap off of it. Alright, so I end up not needing all 5 of them since I got 10 of them. I was going to do 5 loaves of the venison and 5 loaves of the turkey bacon. Looks like I only needed 4, so hopefully the turkey ends up being that way. But this is what I ended up with. If I can focus, there we go. So basically you just line it with a big chunk of plastic wrap, press it down, fold it over, and keep pressing it down, and you make yourself a meatloaf, basically. That's literally what it is. But it looks like I mathed that out right. At least close enough. So if my calculations is correct, 12.5 pounds per batch. I did 4 loaves worth, so just over 3 pounds per loaf, which that's what I was kind of aiming for. I didn't know if it would need 5 pans or not. I kind of figured 4 would be enough, so I'm going to go ahead and get those in my cooler. I don't have no space in my fridge, so I'm using my cooler, but I'll load it down with ice packs to keep it in condition. So I'll go ahead and do that. I need to go ahead and clean up. So all this I gotta clean up, all that, and then I will be good to go ahead and do the turkey batch next. but I'm one of those types that when I'm grinding meat, I like to make sure my work area is clean, especially since I don't have a designated work area for grinding meat and everything. I'm just using my kitchen, so the last thing I want is cross-contamination between batches, or, you know, since I'm dealing with turkey, salmonella could be also an issue, or any of that type of illness. So I'm going to wipe everything down with antibacterial hot water, clean up my grinding stuff, and get back at it. Alright, so it's later on in the evening. I just wanted to get the stuff done. It was just becoming more than it should be. I think it's just because my grinder's so small, it can't really take much at once. So I just wanted to get it done. So I got the turkey ground up into its molds, but it's going to be a challenge tomorrow. It's really tacky and has no structure integrity whatsoever. It's very mushy. I loaded all the pans up into my cooler with ice packs, and just the weight from each pan being on top of each other, it was literally making it ooze out. Like, the pans underneath was literally, the meat was oozing out. So I ended up taking all 4 of the turkey pans out, put them in the fridge to set up for the night, and then the venison ones are in the cooler with a bunch of ice packs. I'll probably put a couple more ice packs in there just so it keeps it in condition. But tomorrow morning I'll check the turkey molds, the turkey pans I should say, to see how firm they've gotten. If they're still really tacky and not really keeping their shape, I'll probably end up sticking them in the freezer just to firm up even more, because that's my main concern is when I go to throw them on the smoker, it's literally just they're going to basically melt to where they're not even going to stay on the grates. But anyway, so we'll see tomorrow how things turn out. Alright, so next day, I checked on both batches of bacon, and it seems like they set up pretty good. The turkey is still a little bit on the thinner side, I guess you could say, where it's not as tacky as I would like it to be. What I think I might do is I got these little disposable grill grates, I guess you can call them. They're like little mesh, expanded metal looking things. So I think for each of those loaves, I'll probably end up putting them on one of those, just to eliminate the risk of the loaves falling through the actual grill grates on my smoker. The venison bacon, on the other hand, should be good to go though. It's tacked up real good as expected. So next is to get it on the smoker. Alright, so I got the turkey loaves out of the fridge, and they're actually doing a lot better than I anticipated. As you can see, I got it on these little grates, disposable grill grates, which will help me transfer it over to on the smoker. But I am actually very happy. I thought they would be falling apart. Like, that one's really holding shape, which is fantastic. And then over here is the venison ones. So I'm going to go ahead and get the turkey ones on the smoker, and then I will come back for the venison ones. Ooh, take my glasses off. Can't really see. So one thing about pellet grills is they tend to smoke a lot, right? It looks like they're smoking a lot, but they don't give as much smoke flavor as you would expect on the food for how much they smoked. So to help combat that, use a tube, a pellet tube, right? Smoke tube, whatever you want to call it. Just fill up with whatever pellets that you normally use, but what I like to do is also mix in some wood chips so you get some authentic smoke. And this should help combat or substitute actual good smoke flavor. Since we're making bacon, we want a rather pronounced smoke flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going. Alright, so once you get your pellet tube going, you kind of want it to burn for 5-10 minutes or so to get a good ember base so it can smolder through. So I'm just going to kind of let that burn as a torch like that. It's not too windy, so I don't have nothing to really worry about. Alright, so we got the loaves on. I didn't get no footage of me putting them on because I just wanted to get them done and over with so they didn't have enough chance to melt or lose form. But so you can see the turkeys there. Kind of have the grates overlapping, but that's all right. Venison over here. Got my smoke tube there with some apple wood chips, so that should be good. Went ahead and switched my smoke setting to, well, my temperature setting to smoke. So now it's just a waiting game. Just gotta wait until they're done. I'll probably after an hour or two check the internal temperature and go from there. So you're probably wondering why I'm using a pellet grill, right? Instead of my offset smoker, because, you know, pellet grills are, hate to say, it's kind of cheating when it comes to the barbecue world. The reason why I do the pellet grill is it's so much easier to use. I compare it to as a outdoorsman's crock pot, right? You literally set it and forget it. When it comes to offsets, you have to babysit that thing every 15 minutes or so. You have to be adding wood, charcoal, what have you. And another thing is with bacon cooking, or bacon making I should say, the key is to keep a low and slow temperature with offsets. It's kind of hard, especially with like the one I got. It's just an Oklahoma Joe. It's not a big one. It's hard to get those low consistent temperatures. I can probably pull off a 225, 250 degrees with precision, but to get it even lower than that, 200 or less, it's very, very difficult. With bacon making, you want it to be as low as possible. So my Austin XL, Pit Boss Austin XL does a fantastic job with that. I literally just set it to the smoke setting, which I think it's right around 180 degrees. It kind of stays consistent with, and it will give that good smoke flavor, because I have the smoke tube in there, of course, it helps out. But it will hold that temperature, and it's literally set it and forget it. It's very, very nice when it comes to that. Alright, so I'd say about 2 hours later, I just temped it. It's around 120, so it's rolling. It's rolling along.
Within a matter of days.
It's just showed, like, there's no gap in his intelligence. You could have taught Nishi how to fly an airplane.
Yeah. You could have been.
I would say probably 2 more hours and it should be good to go. Alright, so we're about 3.5 hours in. It's going to give it an update. Definitely tell it's taking on the color. Hardening up real good. That's what we want. But still got a little ways to go. So probably be another hour or so. Check it again. Alright, so we're approaching the 4-hour mark. Check it again. Get a temperature reading. As you can tell, very, very good color. But I do not think they are at appropriate temperature yet. Oh wow, maybe they are. That one's definitely good. That one's good. That one's not. That one's good. 150, good. Almost good. So so what I'm gonna do is let it go for another 30 minutes, take off the ones that are reading 150 or over, and then let the one on that's being a little stubborn so it gets up there, and we're done. Alright, so it's gonna pick my face up. There it goes. Okay, so problem I'm running into is, there it goes. Yeah. With the turkey bacon, as you can see, the grates are literally melting, well, the meat's melting into the grates. So I got the first 2 off. I got the first 4 off. 2 of the venison bacon. 2 of the venison bacon. Oh, come on, man. There we go. 2 of the venison bacon and 2 of the turkey. Of course, the ones closest to the middle of the smoker was done first because that's where the fire pit or fire pot is. So I moved the other ones in so they would finish up. It's probably going to have to tear the bacon a little bit, but it is what it is. This was a trial run anyway, so I'm going to give it probably another 30 minutes to an hour and it should be good to go. As you can see, brought really good color to it. These ones were the ones that was close to the fire pot. They're done, so I'm just gonna let them rest, let them cool down completely, and then on to slicing them. Alright, so later on the evening, finally got the rest of it off, and it's been cooling. Before I slice into it, I want it to cool down completely, but here's the final product. That is the turkey bacon, and then of course the redder one is the venison bacon. I'm going to let it cool down. I'm going to let it cool down more before I slice it, but then I think tomorrow it's going to be when I taste test it. I'll have a BLT for lunch. Alright, so started slicing it, and tell you what, that is pretty freaking good. I was afraid that it was going to be crumbly, but like, look at that, man. Did a good job. So I guess I'll just continue to slice it, and next batch will be the venison bacon. Alright, so here is the venison batch. Let me see if I can get a good piece here. But focus. There we go. Really came together good. Does not want to crumble at all. So continue to slice that, and then I'll get back to the turkey. I wanted to check both out, but I meant almost looks like lunch meat, to be honest. But I'll go and slice it all up, and then tomorrow for lunch a BLT of each. That's a lot of bacon. Alright, got it all sliced up. Kind of excited to try it. I mean, the venison bacon I know is going to be good. I've done that before, but it's more of the turkey I'm wondering. Like, I wonder what the texture is going to be like, the taste, if it's going to be like regular turkey bacon that you get at the store. But tomorrow we will find out for lunch. Alright, so next day, lunchtime, I'm going to go ahead and cook up our trial run of that bacon. A couple slices of each, the venison and the turkey. Alright, so got the bacon cooking on the Blackstone. It's cooking really good. Getting good color on it. After that, we'll just have to do a taste test. Alright, so bacon is done cooking, and I'll be honest, I've been snacking on it for a little bit. But as you can tell, crisped up nice. Hear that? Same with the venison bacon. Ah, come on now. Now my hands are all greasy. But when it comes to taste, doesn't quite taste like store-bought turkey bacon, but I think it will do. I mean, I would eat it. And then the venison. The beef fat that I added to it was a really, really good addition. Last year or 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago when I made my last batch, I only did pork and venison. But the thing is I want the deer taste to stand out, which beef fat coming from a red meat really, really accommodates it. So I say it's a success. I made some Outdoor Boys pita bread, flatbreads, what you want to call it, grilled bread too. So I'm gonna make myself a fantastic BLT for lunch. But anyway, so verdict. Is it as good as normal bacon? It's not as good, but it's good enough. I feel like it has its own place. If this is what I had to eat the rest of my life, by all means, yeah, I would be fine with that. But will it actually replace true bacon? Probably not. I mean, a good crispy bacon on BLT is fantastic. This, even when you get it crispy, it still has kind of like a chew / pull to it. Kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, like a fried bologna kind of, or a fried sausage. But is it good enough to be edible? Absolutely. We'll end up eating all of that I made. None of it's going to go to waste. But anyway, thanks for tagging along. Stick around for the next video. Oh, there he goes. Oh, there's two of them. They're right here.